Well, it's good to see you alive.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe this guy was on something. Maybe D hit him. Who knows?
He was calling you the suspect in the courtroom.
You see? I don't know. Like I said, D hit him, so it wasn't me. Maybe.
What's D?
D's nuts. This guy's crazy.
D what?
Huh? D's nuts.
Harvey?
The key here is you cannot try the same issue in a different court. You get one bite of the apple. That will do it for this case. Litigants, for the next case on the way into the courtroom.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing out there? It's been a minute since I chopped it up with y'all, man. First and foremost, follow Steak and Eggs on every social media platform that you can think of. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, man. We out here on Tumblr and everything, man. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, man. And let's get it popping. So today I just wanted to chop it up about Camron and Vado in the Boss of All Bosses series, man. If you are familiar with this series, dog, then you'll know what I'm talking about, just how awesome this series was. Just the mixtapes, man, for DJ Drama to just link up with Cam and make some ill-ass gangster grills, and for Cam to bring a newcomer on, somebody that was up and coming, nobody had ever heard of them, or if you did hear of them, you were probably just somebody that was into the New York underground scene and was familiar with the Most Hated crew. And the Most Hated crew was Jay Mills, Aldo, Charlie Clips, and Vado, and a few other guys, but they weren't like mainstream artists aside from Jay Mills. And of course, we was familiar with Jay Mills from being on Making the Band, battling Ines, and then going on to being a part of Young Money. So Vado is one of his boys, but we had never really heard of Vado. And so I remember back in the day when Camron, when Dipset had broken up, and so Jim was just doing the Bird Gang thing, and him and Cam was beefing, and Juelz had Skull Gang, and Freaky had the 730 Dips or whatever it is. And that Dipset was just one big family. But when Cam and Jim had their issues and Cam and Juelz had their issues, it was kind of a divide. Freaky was the one that was kind of like cool with both parties, where he was still cool with Cam and still like kicking it with Jim and Juelz or whatever it is, and rolling with their crews and stuff like that. And so at that point in time, this was after Cam had his beef with 50, and then 50 had brought Jim and Juelz on stage, and then Cam did the video when he was down there in Florida at the pool and shit like that, and everything, talking about it was going to be a hot summer and everything like that. So right then and there, that's when Camron had made a mixtape called Public Enemy. And on the Public Enemy tape, I want to say it was a double disc. I might be wrong. Let me see, man. Let me do my research real quick, man. But that Public Enemy tape was ill, dude. It was so dope. And then, Cam had did the album Crime Pays, where he had like Cookies and Apple Juice, Get It in Ohio. But he had the Public Enemy tape, and that tape had featured Pins and Tom Gist heavy on there, and A Mafia. And I'm an A Mafia fan, dog. So Cam was kind of like rebranding Dipset at that time as well. But Vado has said that how he had linked up with Cam was not only were they from Harlem and being from like a few blocks over from each other, and Vado had actually went to high school with Juelz Santana as well. But Vado said that he had saw an interview, and Cam was saying, somebody had asked Cam, like, okay, like, what's going on with Dipset? Are y'all gonna get back together, make another album? Whoop-de-woo, whoop-de-woo. And Cam was like, no, I think I'm gonna just redo it. I'm gonna just find some new artists and work with. So like I said, Cam had did the Public Enemy tape, and the Public Enemy tape had featured Tom Gist, where Tom Gist is a Dipset dude, but he's not like one of those main ones that you know. Like if you're just a big Dipset fan, then you will know who Tom Gist is. But Tom Gist isn't just like a big name for Dipset, but he is Dipset. But he was featured heavily on the Public Enemy tape along with Pens, and Pens is from a crew called Team Aura that I've always thought was like dope, bro. Like Team Aura was super ill, and they just like really, really they were just like a crew of young dudes, man, from from Harlem and the Bronx, and they just came together. And Pens was a part of Team Aura, but he ended up being on the Public Enemy tape, and Cam was working with him, and so that was like the first start of him rebranding Dipset, in my opinion, and having cats like Rod Raspy and stuff like that. A lot of people that was like featured in the production on Crime Pays and stuff like that. And then they ended up finding Arab music in this point in time as well. And Arab music came from, like Duke the God and shit like that. So Duke the God still was playing his part in working with both sides too. So he still had his relationship with Cam and was still breaking artists and making sure like A Mafia was getting popping and shit like that. And so yeah, Duke the God had Arab music, and so Arab music was very influential in this beginning period of the Dipset rebrand. And so, like I said, Jim was doing the Bird Gang thing, and he was dropping mixtapes galore, and some hard ass mixtapes too. And he was breaking his like newer artists like Sandman, No E, of course, Mel Murder, Free Mel Murder. A bunch of different artists was coming from under Bird Gang, and they had some dope ass music and shit like that. And Jim was working with a couple of the Team Aura guys as well, like ATM and shit. And then Jewels had the Skull Gang, and so then that's when and this is all in the same time period. So we talking like this is 08-ish, 09. These are real early, like the peak blog era. Like this is peak Two Dope Boys, Hip Hop DX, these eras. And you know what I'm saying? And then this was like right at the end of when Jim and Max, like they had they fallout. And so Max started rocking with French and shit. So this is a very, very big time period, man, of like ill music, right? And just showing the hunger. And for these to be niggas that have been signed for Hellas and everything like that, this is one thing I respect about them and I miss about the actual mixtape blog era, the actual grind. And I felt like kids nowadays, like I know for a cat like me to grow up in it or to have seen it in its peak when I'm at 16, 17, 18 years old, around that time, and it just inspired niggas to make good music and make good songs and to have movements. And so yeah, man. And so Cam, man, he started rebranding with the Public Enemies thing, and then he came across this young gunner named Vado, and they came, and to me, man, they was just like this ill duo, this dynamic duo, man, like on some Shaq and Kobe, like how we see Bron and AD right now, where it's just like, I'm still that nigga, I'm still nice, but I'm gonna let my young boy cook, and it's his time to shine, and he deserves it. And that was the one thing that I felt like Cam did better than what Jim and Jewels could do as far as putting their crews out. Cam was making Vado into like a household name, into a star. And this is how they ended up getting the feature on Good Fridays. When Kanye was doing Good Fridays, they was able to get that feature on there on Christmas in Harlem. But Jim was on there as well. But yeah, man, they was just cooking, man. They just created just like a super dope series, man. And they linked up with DJ Drama, and DJ Drama, man, when he had the Gangsta Grills going, that Gangsta Grills era was ill because who couldn't like who can you not think of that had a Gangsta Grills? I mean, Pharrell had a Gangsta Grills and it was lit. Of course, we know the Jeezys, you know what I'm saying, the Trapper-Dies. Of course, we know, or even came band the Snowman. How about the Dedications? The In the Streets with, you know, like, man, there was so many different classics, classic gangster grills. And so when DJ Drama started going up north and started rocking with artists, because Drama is from Philly, so he's an East Coast nigga. A lot of niggas don't know this, but he really got his claim to fame from doing those gangster grills with a lot of Southern artists and really breaking artists, man, and just creating classics, dog, and really just like, you know, ruling the mixtape game, dog. And so for him to link up with Cam and for them to, for it'd be different if it was just like he just linked up with Cam and did a mixtape. No, like the boss of Cam, for him to be like, no, it's gonna be me and my young boy that you niggas ain't never heard of, and we finna let this nigga get his shine on. You know what I'm saying? And for him to, like, bro, like, I just think that it's the dopest shit. And I feel like if you a boss, if you a mogul, if you somebody that's trying to break yourself or break an artist and shit like that, dog, like, follow this blueprint. Because it was just ill, dog. Like, a lot of niggas don't understand the importance of a crew, of loyalty, of family, and for really trying to put your niggas on to help niggas put their niggas on. And you know, and I mean, it's just optics too. It's like, you know, it's outside looking in. I don't know the parameters or like how deep this shit was really between them, but from the outside looking in, I just thought it was so ill and it was so inspirational because it inspired me to really want to rap or really be a part of hip hop and be a part of music. And this was just a super ill series where, like I said, you have a platinum selling artist who the crew you've known him for jamming with, for him to, like, they fall out and for him to just take a new dude that nobody's ever heard of and to rebrand himself with this young guy and believe in this young guy and let him rip heads off. You know what I'm saying? And then in the midst of this, in the midst of them ripping heads off, that's when like Dipset actually had their reunion, and then him and Cam still was making ill ass mixtapes or whatever it is. But it was hard for, I feel like, for them to embrace Vado as actually being Dipset. But the way that we know who Vado is now because of Camron and because of those ill ass mixtapes, man, for them to uh I don't know, man. It's just crazy, dog. It's crazy because when you think of mixtapes, man, when you think of 50 Cent putting his niggas on, and for him to have a young boy like Lloyd Banks, you know what I'm saying, real early, or even for Cam to have a young boy like Jewels, you know what I'm saying, real early, for him to do it again. And man, it was just an ill ass series, bro. It was an ill series. How many of y'all out there are familiar with the Boss of All Bosses series, man? Just like leave a comment, man, or, you know what I'm saying, just comment on the Instagram page or on the Facebook page about this, you know, because we made a post about it. And yeah, man, I just think it was such a classic series and it was very underrated and a lot of people don't know about it. So now a lot of people see Vado being on what is it? I don't think it's Love and Hip Hop. He probably might be on Marriage Boot Camp, but a lot of people don't know who the fuck he is. But it's straight just like how you don't know who Vado is, how you don't know who V12 is. V12 is that guy that was killing shit on mixtapes with Camron. Know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga is a fucking legend, bro. He's been on songs with Chinks, bro. Like, him and Chinks, bro, have undeniable tracks together. Him and Dave East have undeniable tracks together. Know what I'm saying? Like, him and Banks, like him and every time him and Lloyd Banks get on the track with each other, it's crazy. You know, and I just felt like him being with Cam was such a good fit. That shit fit like a glove. And where they fell out at, I just don't know where they fell out at or why they fell out or whatever it is. I don't know if Vado felt like he wasn't getting his just due with Cam or what, but he eventually left Cam and signed to We the Best with DJ Khaled. And in the beginning, I felt like, yeah, this is going to be a good fit. Like, it was kind of weird, but I was like, okay, well, maybe Khaled can put my nigga on some of those albums that he drop every year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can give my nigga a better look or whatever, because Vado deserve it. And I'm one of those guys that when I pay attention to an artist and I like fall in love with this artist type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like that with Big Sean. Like I was listening to Big Sean when I was in college, like when I first got to college, and he had just dropped Finally Famous Part 1, you know what I'm saying? And it was like for me to just see him grow over time into the star that he is now, and now he just dropped Detroit too. So it's like I get like that with artists, like, you know what I'm saying, especially if I'm able to catch them early and I can just see them grow and become something. And so I was just hoping that for Vado, like, damn, I hope Vado really can like blow up now, you know what I'm saying, with the valid with the Khaled cosign, you know what I'm saying? And it just didn't work out like that. You know what I'm saying? And I just hate that that happened, you know, because I just felt like he was a guy that deserved it. And so it's like now he's like kind of back to the underground, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like I know the underground is going to embrace him and appreciate him like he deserves. But at the same time, I know he's worth so much more because I really sat here and watched this guy be great. And I've sat here and watched this guy stand alongside one of the most influential artists to ever come into hip hop. And for them to like, for Cam to even, you know, he from Harlem, so his confidence is at an all-time high. But for him to be humble enough to like, I'm gonna go back to the essence and I'm gonna go back to the hood and just find a young boy and put him on, and we just finna grind this shit out, just me and bro. And them niggas just like made classic underrated mixtapes, dog. And it's just like if you're not familiar with these tapes, you need to go hear these tapes, man. And you need to go listen to songs like Stop at Five, La Bamba, Ric Flair, They Feeling Us. Man, it just countless tracks, Soul Plane. They have countless tracks, man. Shout out to Arab Music, because Arab Music was really influential in creating that sound for them for those mixtapes. And this is early Arab Music. Know what I'm saying? When he like just fresh in the game, and he's a Dipset producer, or he was, you know what I'm saying? But he came in that into that umbrella at this exact same time that Camron was rebranding Dipset. And I just felt like as a boss and as a mogul, as just like a real nigga, as a real leader, like Cam did that shit right, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I mean, if niggas, you know, I don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? But they had an album called Guns and Butter as well, and the Guns and Butter album was ill as fuck too. So it's just like they had Boss of All Bosses 1, Boss of All Bosses 2, and Boss of All Bosses 2.5, and then they had Boss of All Bosses 3. But Boss of All Bosses 3 didn't have that many Vado verses on there, and I think that was around the time where it was kind of like the riff was kind of starting between them. But they had the Guns and Butter album, and that's a great ass album too. So go check out all of that shit if you've never heard it, and check out Vado's Slime Flu series and everything like that. Like my dude was like on his way, bro, and I wish on some fan shit that they would come back together and make another tape. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Vado is doing a lot of shit with Dave East right now and a lot of different artists and shit. He like really still flowing and dropping bars and ripping heads off because the boy been nice forever. You know what I'm saying? But I wish him and Cam would have just stuck it out and really just kept going, man, and just killing the game on some underground shit, on some underrated shit. Cause man, it was ridiculous, and it was like, what a time to be alive to have experienced it and to have been sitting at your computer waiting to download this shit so you can bump it. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I feel like if you're an artist, like I said, if you're an artist and you like to make music, you like to rap, dog, you know what I'm saying? Like really just study the game, man, and study the blueprints, really study the people that like laid the groundwork before you to do what you do, because somebody paved the way, you know what I'm saying? And they had to lay the groundwork. They had to lay the inspiration. They had to fuck up for you to get it right. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just really what the game is about, man. And so I just wanted to touch base on that Boss All Bosses series, something that I feel like is a very underrated, like cult classic series of mixtapes from two very dope artists. Harlem World, shout out to Harlem, man. Straight up, bro. Shout out to the whole 125. Shout out to the whole 140. Everybody up there in Harlem, man. Straight got mad love for niggas in Harlem, bro. The whole New York. And yeah, dog. Like, and for all my people out there that's listening, dog, follow Steak and Eggs on everything, man. Twitter, Facebook.